What's up, guys? You need to meta here with Zach, and I guess Chris and Kat again. They're both here too. But
what up? Like half here. Yeah. We're kind of here.
But Zach has been wanting to do the Red Lotus deck, the Lotus Frogs, and people have been asking about like the list every time we see it. So I figured let's just do it. Give me this Lotus Frog list, Zach.
Okay. So first thing is the heart and soul of the deck. We have the 2 copies of Night of the Red Lotus. If you have exactly 3 vanillas in your bin, you can banish 2, special it.
And it has to be exactly 3?
Yeah. And then once per turn, you could activate his effect to special summon a vanilla from your graveyard. So the vanilla that we play is 3 copies of Water Spirit. It's dumpable via Swap Frog, and it's level 1 tuner.
Has a face that only a mother could love.
Exactly. This card's actually like really sick because like being able to take your opponent's stuff with enemy controllers, brain cons, dropping the Lotus to, and then bringing this back to sync off their guy is so good. And like Frog decks having easy access to make it 7, 8s, and 9s makes it really hard, especially if you have Dupe Block still up. You win that game.
That's fair. I'm gonna need you to stop slamming your hand against the table.
Sorry.
Let's keep going.
And then we have the frogs. Subs. Self-explanatory.
Yeah, the frog packages. There's gonna be nothing. Yeah, that card. I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one too. And those are. I've heard of those. Yeah.
I don't know what this card does. Can you explain this card?
Shut up, Chris.
Throw it at you.
Frog cards are absolutely wonderful. Then we have our Monarchs.
That card's pretty good.
3
I've heard of
Caius,
him.
2 Raiza, 1 Thesti, 1 Mobius. They're just good.
So why these and not like 2, 3 of these and like a Jinzo? So like why 1 in 1 of these?
This card is just in the format itself. There is enough trap cards that Mobius just comes in super handy and like gets pitchable via Swap Frog.
And when it's dead, yeah.
And like Mobius with Thestalos, they're the best Monarchs to summon in open board states. Yeah. Thestalos is the best one in that scenario as it just rips cards from hand.
But if you just want to put pressure with a 2400 monster, especially in like top decking wars, it makes sense.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
I'm guessing this deck is also like slightly more vulnerable to oppression than other Frog decks because of Lotus.
And then you can just kind of hit that with Mobius.
Yep.
And Raiza. God, making your opponent top deck.
And then we have Junk Synchron's. Card's insane. Level 6 synchro monsters are like
they're
the best in the format.
Yeah.
And if you've resolved your Substitoad line, if you have this and Night of the Red Lotus, it's Colossal Armory OTK.
Okay.
You just need something with 2100 attack or higher to do it.
Okay.
And they just die that turn. Card's good. And then
Did you ever board any of them out?
Games 2 and 3, especially when playing against like trap decks, I actually board out the entire Lotus package, 1 Junk Synchron, and sometimes either 1-for-1 or Pot of Avarice to board in the back row hate stuff.
Okay.
Plus like other things that could just be worthwhile in the matchup. Next we have Gorz. Gorz is self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Gorz is Gorz. We have 2 Battle Fader.
And that's
this card helps you live.
That's fair, and that kind of rounds out the monsters, just kind of the battle stopper guys. No Trag?
No Trag. I am not a fan of Tragodia.
Okay.
And I just don't like Trag when Trag is a one-off.
Okay.
Next we have spells. We have 2 copies of Soul Exchange. This card's nuts. Like seeing this with Substitoad just deals with your opponent's set monsters. And
it helps going second, Going second, the card's nuts.
Yeah, and then like post sideboard, like using this to deal with like Fossil Dinos, Vanity's Fiends, things that stop you from playing the game. This card answers. Very strong. Next we have Enemy Controller, Econ, Treeborn Frog. They've been best friends. And then like using Econ to steal their stuff, dropping a Lotus, summoning back the tuner is just not
when you
I don't understand the interaction between Econ and Treeborn Frog.
We do not need to explain how Enemy Controller and Treeborn
No,
Frog
we need to be
works.
educational.
It's my first day of school. I'm the new kid in class. Card's good. Yeah, we good.
Yeah, card's very strong. Sakiest one of in the format.
Ain't that an understatement? Lord.
Yeah,
Brain Con.
It's
Brain.
99% of decks play it.
Is it Brain or is it Dust Shoot?
It's Brain.
Brain.
1-for-1, it gets you to Substitoad or Treeborn.
And you can get a tuner.
And you could go get the tuner.
This deck can get a tuner.
So it's actually really helpful.
Use it to summon Effect Veiler.
Foolish gets you to Frog. You just need Treeborn Frog to function. Then we have Heavy and MST. Got to deal with spells and traps.
Just a
Cards are
generic
just good.
removal. Yeah, I mean,
we have 2 discard traps. I choose Raigeki Break. I've bounced between Raigeki Break and Phoenix Wing, but this card being able to actually deal with the problem is nice.
Yeah, and your deck doesn't really care about Stardust that much.
Yeah, because
it makes sense.
If you're staring down a Stardust, you just Monarch it away or you steal it.
You have like 5 outs and plus the econs and the brain and everything. Yeah.
This card also more effectively answers oppression than Wing Blast.
Yes. Although you could say that honestly, making them draw oppression after you put your board up is even better. But
I mean, if you're trying to summon guys with Lotus next turn, though, you don't want them to have oppression again.
Yeah.
Yep, and then
I guess that's where this deck varies.
And then we have our 1 copy of T-Roar.
You play that over Dust Shoot?
Yes.
I don't like Dust Shoot and Frogs. I'm on that train, so I'm with you.
Is that a Brionac thing?
He's also talked about not playing Dust Shoot and Frogs.
That card's crazy, though.
I know, but you just Monarch the card you don't care.
Yeah,
I guess that's fair.
Having hand knowledge and then monarching correctly, whatever. But I'd rather my opponent not kill me because playing Frogs, for your first couple turns, you're immediately on the back foot. So you need to crew up your advantage, and you just need ways to live. So you stabilize, and if you play a Frog deck and you stabilize, you win that game. You just do.
That's fair.
Monarch cards are good.
If we're playing a 1 of T-Roar, why wouldn't we play Mirror Force instead? Because I've seen a lot of Frog lists play Mirror Force as a 1 of.
For me, it's the chain ability factor of it because they're gonna have Heavy and MST in game 1.
Yep.
And so if you're only setting 3 cards, they're gonna I'm not gonna get any value out of this card. Let's just shotgun it. Cool. And that's the main reason.
We educated the people today.
So that's the main deck. 41 cards. I actually wouldn't change anything. The only other thing that I have considered is playing a 3rd copy of Soul Exchange, but I haven't figured out what I would find that slot for yet.
41.
One card I forgot. Pot of Avarice.
I was you mentioned the Pot of Avarice. I don't see Pot of Avarice.
Yeah.
So can you talk about boarding this card out though?
So I board this out in games that the Lotus stuff lets you churn through Lotus is your extra deck.
Yeah, so you're able you're not putting back Frogs.
Yeah.
You're putting back Synchro monsters and Junk Synchrons and stuff.
But your games against Vayu Turbo, Hero Beat, Black Queen, you need to board in your back row hate stuff. And Lotuses and the Pot of Avarice, that's 6 easy slots for you to immediately board out.
Okay, we'll get to that when we get to the sideboard, but yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And it just works.
Okay.
But main deck's 41 cards.
Extra deck.
Sick. Extra deck, we have our 4, Armory Arm.
Yeah, we could probably fly through a lot of these, yeah.
You have our 5s, Catastor, Magical Android.
And the good one.
And Junk Warrior.
That card's good. You can get him as a beefy boy with Swap Frogs.
Yes.
And you can bring back Dupe. And you can, if you want to wall up, you bring back Treeborn Frog, and then you summon Junk Synchron, bring back Swap Frog, and then swap bounce the Junk, and you put 2 chumps up. I've done that before.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's just really nice.
Or that card can get really big.
Or, you also have the scenarios of, just Junk pulling back a swap.
You can pull back Dupe and then equip this if you have something already on board.
The other thing that Junk just lets you do is, just junking back a swap and bouncing a Monarch is crazy.
Yeah.
6s, Brio and Goyo.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory.
The good ones.
They're the broken cards.
We don't need Flamevote or Urquizus.
Nope.
Your deck makes 7, so this actually
Yep. Next we have our 7s. We have Black Rose, Urbellum, and Ancient Fairy.
Okay.
Ancient Fairy's here to primarily just wall up. That's really
you can make
it.
7, so you just play.
Yeah.
You can play.
Urbellum's actually pretty lit in this deck. It's really easy to make 7s, and early game your opponent is almost always going to have 4 cards in their hand, so like making them draw a card that's already in their hand, and then like the follow-up turn drop on a Raiza to force them to do it again.
Yeah.
You kind of can just win off of that. And Black Rose Dragon.
Yeah, it's the good one.
Self-explanatory. Next we have our 8s. We have 2 Stardust, 1 Thart Whirler, 1 Colossal, 1 RDA.
Okay, and then I'm assuming Mist Wurm.
And we have Mist Wurm as our 9. This card's actually
That card's
easy
really
to get
good,
to.
yeah.
So you make that pretty easily with Lotus and then any of the 2s and then Aquasphere,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mist Wurm's pretty
And it
easy.
just clears 3 cards out of the way for you to get in.
And you can make 8s really easy because you have Treeborn Frog.
Yep.
So that's why, okay, because I was wondering about the double Stardust,
Yeah,
and I was
those
like,
two.
but I guess if it's super easy to make, because Treeborn Frog makes 8s, so you can make 7s and 8s.
Yep.
And this, dummy easy. Cool.
You don't
Side
have any
deck?
Darks to make.
Sideboard.
Yeah.
We have the best side deck card in Frogs. We have Breaker. Breaker deals with Secret Village. Breaker deals with Zombie World. Breaker deals with Oppressions. Breaker deals with pulling the rugs because they have to
It just,
pull in the
yeah,
rug
it
in.
just eats the pulling the rug, yeah.
And it also beats over Fossil Dino.
And Masker Restrict.
And Masker Restrict. This card effectively 2-for-1s almost every single time when you see it, or it just eats pulling the rug. And you'd rather this get pulling and not your Monarchs.
Card's good.
Next,
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
Defense. Self-explanatory.
That card's a bomb.
This card wins the game.
Yeah, and a lot in the mirror. That's the freebie in the mirror. It's like, oh, you don't have
You don't have
you
your
don't have your
out to
soul.
Defend,
You don't have soul. That sucks.
Damn, sorry, bro.
wins the game.
I remember when I was playing you, and you pitched one of your souls, and then I summoned that card. And I was like, you better have another one, my guy.
Yeah, it felt really bad. Next, we have 2 copies of Snowman Eater.
Card's good against Hero Beat and Blackwigs. It
Yep.
makes sense. And it's the best card I ever
And
printed. So
if it's ever dead, you just pitch it a Swap Frog.
yeah,
So like, it's really nice.
Water monsters being water monsters is like super like utilitarian
Yep.
in this. Yeah.
It's amazing how you invest your opinion.
Next, we have Crows.
Shut up. You don't know anything.
In the mirror, these are okay. Against Vayu, they can be pretty good.
Yeah, that card's really good as
Early
well, yeah.
versus hero, being able to eat like water monsters from their bin is also kind of nice.
I
Makes
don't.
them,
I
like,
I typically
use
don't bring it
kinda
in
awkward.
against. Yeah.
But it has its moments.
Hero Blast 2, I guess, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Banish Dandy against Quick Draw decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any deck that's like on like multiple debris and Pot of Avarice, that card's insane
Yep.
against.
Also, like making Pot of Avarice whiff is
Yeah,
hilarious.
really good. Yeah.
Best feeling in the world when they Avarice and you chain crow.
Next,
Bonus points
we
for
have
Dragon
the
Turbo.
3rd copy of Battle Fader.
Yeah, like
You need
Dragon
this
Turbo
for
and
your-
stuff like that.
This is bad versus Dragon Turbo. They
oh,
just
'cause of
Drago
Drago,
you.
yeah.
He's always in on Drago.
Like Drago is your worst enemy, and like if they got Drago, they got Drago, and you just die anyway. That part's like really sad, but
that's
Fader
where T-War
helps
comes
against
in.
like the extra
Yeah.
deck. Yes.
Yeah, because they're gonna like True Nature and
Yep.
Vortex and stuff. And all that.
Next, we have 2 copies of Book of Eclipse.
So you play Eclipse over Moon because of Titanium,
Yes.
because the deck gets
this-
soloed by Titanium.
Monarchs in general, kind of just you could just lose to Titanium having one other plant on field, and being able to non-target, flip it down, and Monarch it away, just deals with the problem.
Because this also, because if you have a Monarch, it's a quick play, so you can do it in standby and get your Treeborn.
Yep.
And you can still do it to Dinah and Christia and Vanity
Fiend's
Fiend.
Fiend.
Yeah.
It's other outs to those cards while being able to flip Titanium down, and they just can't deal with it.
Okay.
Extra psychic damage if they think you're playing deck out.
Next, we have a card that beats Diddy Crow.
Yeah,
and,
it's a good side deck.
Soul Release.
Yeah.
Add back your
Again,
Treeborns
in
back
standby
your
phase, they crow it. Standby phase, activate, and then
Yep.
standby phase, crow. Yeah, being a quick play.
And
Good
then
card.
we have 2 Dust Tornado.
Do you find those superfluous with the 3 breaker, or do you just
No, there's actually like really neat against like your trap decks. You board out the Lotus package for triple breaker, double dust, and I always instinctively bring in the burial because I'm used to people crowing and soul releasing me.
So the Lotus package is this, and then the 5.
Yeah.
So you
There's the
bring
one
out
Avarice.
because the Avarice is part of the Lotus package because you don't. That's not standard in Frog decks. So
Nope.
those 6 come out 2 dust, and then was it 3 breaker, and then the burial.
Yep.
Against back row decks?
Against back row decks, you want Breakers, Burial, and Dust Tornadoes. And
Are there anything you would ever bring in Breaker against? Like, you would just bring in the Breakers and not the Dust, and like, for like specific floodgates, maybe a deck's not a trap deck, but they can side the floodgates, so you just bring in the Breakers?
Yep, or like any deck that doesn't like, can take a turn off by summoning a Fossil Dyna. Like, just having this in combination of Junk Synchron, just being able to stick over it is just nice.
That makes sense.
Why do you opt for Dust Tornado over cards like Jinzo or Trapstun?
Even Twister.
Jinzo does lock out traps, but Jinzo doesn't remove the traps. So if your opponent deals with your Jinzo, you still have to deal with those trap cards.
Sure.
And I would just rather remove the trap cards and call it a day.
Yeah, and Jinzo doesn't deal with, I don't know, like, obviously, like, Jinzo's, like, really good against pulling the rug, but there's, like, some other stuff that, like, Jinzo just, like, I guess can't handle, so that makes sense.
But yeah, that's the list.
Awesome. Thanks for
I've
watching,
been
guys.
tinkering with this deck since, like, May of last year.
And you played it a lot.
I really like this package inside of a frog deck.
Well, let me know what you guys think of the list, and thanks for watching, guys.